All right, this is it. This is the last one. This is part 6 of my Darkness Any Percent tutorial where I'm going to cover Chapter 5. I'm so glad you've stuck with me this long, or if this is your first part, I don't know why you started here, but thanks for showing up. Not a lot of tricks in this chapter, it's mostly just combat strategies that I'm going to go over, but Chapter 5 does have what I think is one of the coolest speedrun tricks ever. All right, let's get to it. All right, so for the start of Chapter 5, we're just going to head straight to Aunt Sarah. I'm not going to make you watch that whole journey. You can just kind of imagine how I get there. I'm sure you can figure it out. Make sure that when you leave the orphanage, you always take this left here. When I first started running this game, I would always forget which way to go. Just remember that it's the left. Also, you see that this train is leaving here. In Chapter 5, when you get down here, the train is either going to be already gone or just driving away as you go down the stairs. If it's just driving away, you're actually going to lose about 10 seconds over it just not being here. So, like, I don't know. There's not really a whole lot you can do about that. I don't really know what causes that to happen. I'd love to know, because it's kind of unfortunate to possibly be losing. I think that happens twice in this chapter, so 20 seconds total can just randomly be lost to RNG. So if somebody could figure that out, that'd be great. Also, just a little note, when you go through the loading trigger here, for some reason at this part of the game, it'll save which way you're facing. So like if I walk in backwards, for instance, when I go through here, I'm gonna be facing the same way, which is weird because in Chapter 3, I think, like, it actually puts you facing this way every time. I don't really get it, but it always would throw me off when I would go through here in speedruns, so I just figured I'd mention it. All right, so this is a very small thing that ultimately doesn't really matter, but I think it's cool, so I want to mention it. There's 3 ways you can get to Sarah's door. The first is obviously just going up normally like this. You can also jump over here like this, jump on that trash bag, and then jump up. And you can kind of see that it gives you the prompt to ring the doorbell, and that does work. It might save like a little bit of time, but it's not a huge deal. The other thing you can do, if I can get the angle right here, is actually do a wall climb along this wall and just glide right over the door. Something like... Ah, I messed it up. Let me try that again. Yeah, just like that. Again, that's not a big deal, but I think those are so cool that I figured I'd throw them in here for fun. Because I always go for that wall climb. I just think it's so funny to glide along the wall and then open the door that way. In this conversation, you can walk anywhere while Aunt Sarah's talking. She's going to keep talking no matter what, no matter where you are in the house. But when Butcher starts talking after you talk to Aunt Sarah, you actually have to stay pretty close to him or he's going to stop talking and do his dialogue over. So here, for instance, if I was like, you know, playing around and I jump over here a bit too far, he stops talking, and then you have to walk back up to him, and he'll start talking again. So just don't do it. Alright, so once you've done that, you're just gonna head back into the subway and go right to Grinder's Lane. Also, sometimes this jump just, like, doesn't work. I guess it's kind of working for me now. Like, sometimes I'll go to jump over this, and you just get stuck here. I don't really know why. Eventually, you'll get over if you keep trying, but if it bothers you too much, you can just walk around. Also, remember that once you get to Fulton, Grinder's Lane is just the first set of stairs here on the left. I've made the mistake far too many times of running all the way to the other side and then accidentally going towards the orphanage. Alright, so Grinder's Lane should be pretty simple. There are 3 ways that you can get in here. The first is to just do the wall climb right here again. I don't recommend doing that. The next thing you can do is actually just go the normal way around this corner in that door all the way around to the radio in there. I also don't recommend doing that unless you struggle with this last method. So the fastest method for getting into Grinder's Lane is to come up here and actually go back here so that you can absorb darkness energy. Pull out the demon arm here, grab this trash box and just kind of throw it over there and shoot out a light, that light there, as you walk across the street. And then you're gonna use this trash can to prop fly on and actually go right over the wall. So just like with the trick in Chapter 3, I'm gonna grab it and then jump so that the prop actually gains a bit of height before I jump on it. So that should look like this. And now I'm over the wall. You can go in here, activate the radio, and you're out of there. Now, you're gonna jump over this wall. Be very careful when you jump over this wall, though, because if you actually jump off of it, like I just did, I shouldn't have done that. If you jump off of the wall, you can go flying because the enemies will be shooting you. And if you go flying here, you might hit this car. Do not cross the street until that car has passed by because it will kill you. And if you jump over this wall too quickly, even if you don't get shot, you can walk out here and get killed by the car. You have to be 100% sure that the car has passed before you start crossing the street. That's also good life advice. So this is what leaving Grinder's Lane should look like. So now that we're done Grinders, we are gonna head back to Canal and go to Pier 19. When you're waiting for the train here, as you come back, you can wait right about here, like across from the F in Fulton Canal, and that should put you right in front of a door. Yep, just like that. So there's two things to mention here on the approach to Pier 19. The first thing is, since you're gonna be coming back here and there's gonna be a bunch of enemies, like from there all the way to Sarah's, what I like to do as I go by here is just shoot out all of these streetlights here. It takes a little bit of time versus just, you know, strafe jumping the whole way, but I find that it makes surviving the way back a lot easier, and I've died too many times on that approach for me to not do this. So what I like to do is I'll just strafe jump as much as I can until I'm close to a light, and then shoot at it, strafe jump a couple times, shoot at the light, strafe jump some more, shoot at this one, this one. I'll usually do like those ones, maybe these two lights if I feel like it. It doesn't really matter. The other thing to mention is that as you come by here, there's gonna be a mugger that comes out of the alley, and if you have guns out, he'll start shooting at you, and sometimes you can get him to boost you this way. He's not really shooting at me right now. How come? You gonna shoot at me, buddy? He's not doing it. Sometimes he'll shoot you and boost you a little bit. It can be good to get here a little bit quicker. It's not a huge deal, and I don't think he's gonna kill you, so like it's not really a big risk to go for it. All right, so Pier 19. The goal of Pier 19 is to get on the boat, kill the captain, and then make it all the way back to this loading trigger. There are gonna be 4 enemies here at this like starting section. I've had to kill them all because they wouldn't stop talking while I was trying to record. So there's 2 guys here. One guy around that corner that'll like walk out as you get up to about like here or so. And then there's a guy on this catwalk here. Something to note about these enemies, since you're going to the boat and then coming back, these enemies will still be here on your way back if you don't kill them. On top of 4 or 5 enemies that spawn here, and even more further on. So the best way to make this section easier or faster is just to either skip killing enemies, or kill more, or kill them quickly. I'm gonna show you the method that I use to get through this section, but if you find it too difficult, really the best modification is to just take more time and kill more enemies. So when you get here, you're gonna pull out the darkness, switch it to black hole. Black hole these 2 guys, run on by. You're gonna start getting shot by the guy by the car, it shouldn't matter. Once you get to about this little like manhole here, you can pull the darkness out again, turn around, and then shoot a black hole up there. That should kill this guy. Yep. Now, as I come around this corner, I like to shoot out this light and this light to make a strat that I'm gonna use later a bit easier. And then just gonna approach the boat. Pull out the darkness right around here so that you can black hole this guy, because he can be a bit of a problem as you try to leave the boat. As you come around this corner, this enemy, oh wow, he got a lot of damage on me. That enemy can sometimes be running around this corner, so you have to be ready for him to round that corner. He can also just be hiding around that corner, and you have to kind of chase him down to kill him. So just be ready for him to be basically anywhere from there to there. So you've got 3 methods for killing the captain. The way that I do it is to charge up a black hole, stand right about here, aim. You see this little like stain on the boat right here? It's kind of like a taller one. Aim your crosshair right at the top of it like that. Doesn't have to be super precise. Jump, and at the height of your jump, shoot a black hole. So like this. You shouldn't be able to see the black hole. You can see that it's pretty deep in there. And that should kill the captain. You can see that it gives you the voice line and the objective updated. That's how you know that it's worked. Usually what I do is jump, shoot the black hole, and if it felt right, then immediately just run off the boat. But that's a bit risky because if the black hole misses, then you're gonna have to walk back on the boat and try again. The second method for killing the captain, which really you should only use if you find the black hole to be a bit difficult to land, is pull out Creeping Dark, stand on this thing here, face this way so that you have room to send out the Creeping Dark, and send it out and up over this wall, over this barricade here, and you have to be pretty precise with your movements here. Go around this, open the door, get on the ground here, Mash right trigger so that you can destroy the table, and then kill the captain like that. You don't have a lot of energy to work with, so you're gonna have to practice that a couple times before you really can get it down. But once you know how to maneuver the Creeping Dark, it's not that bad. But again, I really only suggest doing that if you're struggling with the black hole. If you find both of those to be a bit difficult, you can really just go the normal way to the captain, like up this way, up the stairs and all that. It's not that much slower, but you should definitely be trying to learn one of those other two methods. So once you've killed the captain, you can just jump off the boat like this, or you can just go around and walk off like that. That's fine. All right, so I'm going to explain the way that I do this, and then I'll show you some like modifications you can make to it if you find it too risky or too difficult. So once you jump off the boat and you're like right around here, what you're going to do is start strafe jumping this way. There's an enemy behind the corner there that might run out as you approach. He might stay there. You have to be ready for it. And if he does run out, shoot him as fast as you can because you want to be eating his heart as you go by. Once you get past this little like area with light here, you want to pull out the darkness and start absorbing energy, which is why you actually shoot out those two lights so that you can actually absorb energy as you run by. And then once you're around this shipping crate here, you're actually going to start holding left bumper and mashing A to summon a Gunner Darkling from that Darkling spawn, and that Darkling is actually going to distract all of the enemies over here long enough that you can actually get further down towards the Lower East Side exit where they're not going to be an issue anymore. Once you get around that corner, you're going to approach the car that's down there and try to shoot a black hole in the middle of it right as the enemies start shooting you, because if they shoot you too much, you're not going to have any energy to shoot a black hole. So I'll show you what that looks like now. Pull the darkness up here, just start walking like this. That guy ran out, so I'm gonna try and kill him as fast as I can here. And summon a gunner, get over to the guy, where is he? Get that heart, and start strafe jumping down this way. And now shoot a black hole right in the middle of the car there. That's actually not a good spot. Shoot this guy on the left. Okay, yeah, that black hole did not do what I wanted it to, so unfortunately I gotta kill these guys here. If the black hole that you shoot doesn't go where you want it to, you really should be a bit more cautious and like take care killing these enemies, because they will destroy you if you just try to run by. You are not going to be able to just run through this encounter. Let me see if I can get a bit of a cleaner execution of that there. So switch to the rifle, gonna come around here. Pull the darkness out. Oh, that guy ran out, so gotta kill him, or he's running back. Okay, cool, didn't know he could do that. Summon a gunner, and then kill this guy. Eat his heart, start strafe jumping towards these guys, and shoot a black hole right behind them. Shoot these guys on the left. There's usually only one guy over here, but sometimes an enemy will run over there. As you run by here, just shoot all of these enemies till they're dead, and that should be everyone, and then you are free to go back to Lower East Side. If you find that that strategy is giving you a bit of trouble, I would say the best thing to do is, like I said before, just kill more enemies. So like, you know, kill this guy as he runs by. Take advantage of your black hole here as much as you can, because you can get another one with that heart immediately. So the enemies that are here is there's this guy on this little catwalk, and then there's 3 guys here and 1 guy that runs around the corner. So once they're all dead, you're safe here. So you can eat a heart here as you come around the corner. If any enemies are showing themselves, you can kind of start shooting at them there. But I do find the black hole is the best option here. The enemies that you really have to be careful of here are anybody that runs off to the left here. It's usually, like I said, only 1 enemy, but some of these enemies can run over here if they feel like it. So these enemies are the ones you need to worry about. And then there's a guy that's usually standing in this corner here that the black hole won't kill. So you gotta be ready for him to have survived that as well. So once you've done that, you're gonna go right back to Lower East Side for the shootout. All right, so now we are just gonna make our way back to Aunt Sarah's. As you run by this alley, there are 2 enemies a little bit further in that might notice you as you run by. They only have a pistol and SMGs, so they're probably not going to be a huge threat to you. You'll usually be out of their range by the time they actually get out of the alley and can hit you. But if you are worried about it, you can just run to the side here, and they'll generally not notice you at all.
I got movement here.
Oh yeah, they noticed me, but didn't even come out to shoot me. As you get to this corner, there are going to be 2 guys that are like rounding it. I think they were already here because I was taking a bit longer. Generally, you want to kill these guys as you run by. You can shoot a black hole if you want, but you should try to either absorb more energy before you get to the alley down there, or just eat one of their hearts if you can. So come down here, stay in the darkness if you shot these lights out. You can just shoot this guy as you run by, and then Once you get close to this car, shoot a black hole behind it right around there. That should either kill or distract those enemies long enough that you can just run right into Aunt Sarah's, and then you can start the shootout. All right, so for the shootout, all these enemies here are set spawns. Killing certain enemies will make other ones appear. So here's kind of the best way that I think you can go about doing this shootout. You're gonna go into the room on the right here, and as you go in, try to be shooting about where the window is, so that you can hopefully kill Nikki. You can't actually shoot at him, like if you're aiming at him and pull the trigger, Jackie just kind of pulls the gun up like that. But if you run in and you're shooting, you can kind of sometimes get a random bullet off on him. And you really want him to be dead because he can really get in your way and make it so that you can't look out the window and shoot the enemies, or you'll have to use the one like to the left of him, and it's not really as good for hitting the enemies, I find. So you're gonna come in here, try to shoot him. I didn't manage to get it there. Shoot these two enemies at the car. Another one is gonna show up here in a second. Kill him, and wait, did he die? No, he didn't die. Make sure they die. You know all three enemies here are dead when Sarah says, "I think I'm enjoying this." All right, so then you're gonna run over here, shoot out this window as you run up, and aim at the enemies at the subway here. There's gonna be 4 of them. There's also gonna be an enemy running down that alley here in a second, and he might stop by the dumpster or he might run over here. I'm not sure why this enemy isn't showing up. There you are. Wow, that took a while. I guess if that enemy doesn't show up, just move on to the enemies by the car to the left. But with this enemy, sometimes he'll come over here and you can shoot him here. Other times he'll be over by the dumpster and you're gonna have to actually go back to the other room to kill him. But don't do that now. Do that once you've killed the enemies at the car to the left. So once you've killed the 4 enemies by the subway, you can... Oh, what the hell? Usually they don't run away from the car, but sometimes they will if you don't kill them fast enough. So there's gonna be 4 of them here. Don't zoom in when you're shooting these enemies. Let the auto aim do the work for you. You might have noticed that those enemies kind of run a decent while before they get to the car. You can actually try to shoot them as they run by. The timing of the shot, it can be very difficult from this far away. The way that I actually worked out a decent way for it is to zoom in here and aim. Actually, I'm gonna stand here so this guy can't shoot me. Aim at the left side of this door and shoot when their head is on the right side of it. So you get the height right for their head as they're running by. Aim about here, and then this distance, when they're this distance away, you shoot. I'll try to do it with the next enemy here so I can show you. So kill him. Oh, I missed. Let's try that again. I'll see if I can get a good shot of that. Also, there's a rifle here in the room with Sarah that you can pick up if you find you're low on ammo. Sometimes you can hit them like that as they run by. If you do that, you gotta kill them quick because that kind of breaks their AI that tells them to run to that car, and they can run pretty much anywhere and end up in spots where it's very hard to shoot them. So if you hit them on the way to the car and they don't die, kill them very quickly. There you go, just like that. That's about the distance that you need to get a headshot on them. That is a pretty hard shot. I wouldn't go for that if you're not kind of confident that you can hit it. It's not like it loses you any time for doing it, but it's a lot easier to be set up like looking at the car for them to run by. They go in a pattern, like the first guy will be on the left of the car, and then the next guy will stop at the right, then the next guy at the left, and then the next guy at the right, which is why it's good to try to stop them before they get to the car. So when Jimmy says that's it, that's your sign that you've killed all the enemies there, and you can run back over here. Stand around this window, that should make an enemy spawn in from the alley, and after you've done that, if you haven't killed the enemy over here, you can just go ahead and do that now. He can be a bit hard to hit from here, unfortunately, like he won't stick his head out very often, and there's not really a whole lot you can do. Sometimes you can kind of clip his head when he's poking up like that to reload, but it's not very easy. You really don't want to be killing him here. Anyway, eventually, the second last enemy will run down from over there. If you're just waiting for this enemy, you can kind of stand about here and try to get him as he runs by. If not, then just kill him when he gets to the car. Then the darkness is gonna say, kill them all. That means that the last enemy is running down this alley. So you can just kill him, and then once he says darkness will fall, that means you are done the shootout. So once you're done the shootout, you're gonna jump up on this bookcase and crouch down right beside right at the right side of the doorway here, and hold forward. Butcher's gonna come up here and lift this bookcase, and you're gonna fall through. and then walk forward as he walks forward so that you are just right beside him like this. Then you can press X while you're looking at him to make him start his dialogue. Make sure that you are right here beside him. You don't want to be further back because then there's a chance that you can mess up this trick. One thing to note about initiating his dialogue is you do not want to press X until he has stopped moving. Otherwise, you're going to make this trick very, very hard, maybe impossible. What you're going to do with this trick is you have a little bit of room here to actually get by Butcher. So you can actually just run all the way to Pier 19 right now, but the boat to get you to the lighthouse hasn't actually spawned in yet. That's going to happen at the end of this conversation. Unfortunately, for this conversation to end, you have to say something to Jimmy first. So what this trick is going to do is allow you to talk to Jimmy and then immediately run past Butcher all the way to Pier 19. And this conversation will just finish on your way there. So if you initiate Butcher's dialogue too early and he's not in the right spot, you might actually make it so that you can't squeeze past this little gap beside him, and you might have to like kind of play around with pressing X to make him look at you, to move him around a bit and hopefully make enough room that you can get out. And the reason that you really don't want to go too far back here is because if this gap like is closed or he moves in a way where the gap closes, what you're gonna have to do is like kind of come over here, make him turn this way, turn back, press X to make him look this way, and just keep doing that until you can kind of squeeze through here. So if you do this the way that I've explained to you, generally you won't have that issue. You really don't want to run by him. You want to be standing right beside him as you do this trick. So once Jimmy says you can, wait, what is the line? Once Jimmy says this line, you can be the Dawn, that's when you want to run in, talk to him, and then immediately run back out. And now, you're just going to run all the way back to Pier 19. Once you're at Pier 19, you're going to set up for the last trick of the run called Lighthouse Skip. There are two ways to do this trick. I'll show you the way that is easier, arguably, first. So, to do this version of the trick, all you're going to do is just make your way over to where the boat comes in. Once the boat is here, what you're going to do is jump in the boat, the little lower section that Mario is standing in, and immediately jump out. You want to be spending as little amount of time possible on the ground because there's a kind of a weird effect here where starting this loading trigger like kills your momentum. So if you're not mashing the jump button, there's a good chance that you're just going to kind of stop in the boat, and that's why you want to be jumping in there for as little time as possible. You want to be jumping as far into the boat as you can. So that should look something like this. And then you see there, I fall in the water just as that cutscene is starting that like takes you to the lighthouse. That is how you know that you got this trick. If you know that you're not going to be able to hit the faster version of this trick, like you made a mistake in your approach, this is the version of the trick that you should be going for. Like immediately just kind of switch to getting ready to jump in the boat once Mario starts to turn around, because that's about when the boat becomes solid. Now, the second way for doing this trick involves getting there so fast that the boat isn't even solid yet. You have to reach there at just the right time that the loading trigger has actually spawned in, but the boat is not yet solid. There's a small window for that, and you can actually get there too fast and miss the trick completely because of that. So if you're doing this version of the trick, you're gonna have to be strafe jumping. I don't think there's a way to do this trick without strafe jumping to the boat. I've tried, because honestly for a while I thought strafe jumping was not faster than strafe walking, but this is the one trick that has proved to me that I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure strafe jumping is at least marginally faster, if not more, because I don't think you can hit this trick without strafe jumping. Something to note though is you do not have to be strafe jumping from the very beginning. Your movement does not matter in this section until you turn the corner over here. Not this corner, but this corner right here, this one with the light pole. As soon as you round that corner, that is when your movement starts to matter. So, for this trick, what I'm gonna do is come around this corner here, and rather than jump over the gap in the water there, I'm gonna go around this pillar on the left. And I do that because this should get me there at just the right time where the boat is not solid, but the loading trigger is spawned in, and then you just walk in the boat, fall in the water, and then it gives you that cutscene. All right, so now I'm going to show you what that looks like if you go too fast and you end up getting there too early. For this, I'm going to cross this gap over the water here. So as you can see there, I fell right in the boat and into the water, but it did not initiate the loading, and I just ended up swimming back to shore. So if you mess up your approach by like falling in the water or something, there's a good chance Mario is going to be standing here rather than at the front of the boat, which means that you can't jump in like where I showed you the first time. So if he's standing here, you got to kind of come closer to the edge of the dock here and jump in this way. But it's kind of hard because as you can see, you might end up jumping off of the front of the boat there, like the windshield. It's a lot harder to hit this trick if Mario is standing there. You can also try to do it at the back of the boat, but then you're also likely to end up on like the seats here. So let's try something like this. And there, that was an example of the momentum stopping thing. Like I was mashing the jump button there and I could not get another jump off. It just kind of stopped me completely. I don't know how to avoid that. I really don't know what it is. I just kind of mash jump and pray that I make it out. Sometimes it doesn't work, which is why I think you really should try to learn the version of this trick where the boat isn't solid yet, but that does take a decent amount of practice. There we go, that worked. So once you've got that, you can just mash B to skip those cutscenes, and then you're heading off to the lighthouse, the final area of the game. So what the jumping into the boat earlier did might not be immediately obvious, but what it's done is give you no clip. By pressing the jump button, you just move up, or really you move up relative to where your camera is facing. So you see, if I'm looking down right here and I hold A, I move forward very quickly. If I'm looking just kind of straight ahead, I move up. If I'm looking up, I move backwards, not that you can see it here. And you can also just kind of move wherever you're looking by just holding forward. This is one of the wildest tricks I've ever seen in a game. I don't understand why this happens. So all you're gonna do at this point is head all the way up to the lighthouse right up there. Something to keep in mind though is you gotta be keeping height. Like you kind of want to be going in a straight line. You don't want to be walking over this way, because if you're over here, you hit a trigger that puts you in the water. And after you've fallen in the water, this glitch is no longer active. However, that's not as bad as it sounds, because believe it or not, the checkpoint actually saves this glitch. So if you reload checkpoint, you can just try it again. So once you're here, you're just gonna head on over to the lighthouse. I like to pull out the SMGs here because I find they're the best for killing Polly. So to make Polly spawn, you have to actually go through this door here on the back of the lighthouse. If you were to go in now, he actually just won't be there. You see, he'd be standing right around here, and he's not here. But once I go through this door and then press A to go up, he's right here. As soon as this cutscene's over, you're gonna shoot Polly and end your timer. Your run is over as soon as he is shot, right now. And that is how to speedrun The Darkness any percent. Thank you so much for watching all the way through this series, or just all the way through this video if you didn't watch any of the other ones. I don't really care which one you watch, that's fine. I really hope that getting all this information out into the world makes learning this run easier and hopefully helps people pick up this run. Honestly, if one person were to pick up this run after watching this tutorial, that makes this totally worth it for me. I would love for more people to run this game. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really hope this has been helpful, and I will see you next time. There's not going to be a next time, I don't think, unless I make like a 100% tutorial, which I don't think I'm gonna. Maybe, I don't know. I'm hoping to make a video about like possible glitches. Maybe I'll see you in that one if you're interested. If you're not, that's fine. Like you don't have to. Live your life, man. Like do whatever you want. If you have any questions, I left information about like the Darkness Discord down in the description below. So yeah, this is like the third or fourth time I'm saying thanks for watching. I don't know how to properly end a video, so I'm just gonna probably cut it off here.